my dad kind of sat down with me. He's like, yeah, I think he heard and saw some of the potential I had for playing. And he said, look, if you're going to take this seriously, you need to play 4 hours every day during the summer. Like, go out and play and do your stuff and be a kid and all. But if you're serious about really, really doing this thing, you need to invest the time.
Dude, that's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Your dad seems like a good dude. You know,
for sure.
The 2 or 3 things you said about it, but like, I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Our dads?
Yeah, right?
We trauma bond a lot.
Yeah,
I got you.
Over
It
daddy
happens.
issues.
Yeah.
I wish I knew my dad.
Yeah, I knew my dad, but you know, it is what it is. Welcome to Therapy is Full. I'm your host, Dustin Hayes, CEO of Red, White, and Badass Brew.
And I am your co-host, Terrence, mother flipping the man Davis, serving up all your hottest real estate needs here in San Diego. I've been working on it for like the last couple of weeks.
I could tell, man, but
Yeah,
we're
that's
both
good.
hosts. You don't have to say co-host.
I'm a host of a number of different things that I can't talk about on the podcast.
That leads into a lot more than what I was expecting to go into
On today's
today.
episode
But
of Therapy Was Full.
did you know, which I didn't know, that Marine Corps has a band? I don't know what instruments they play. I don't know much about it because
the
I did
M16.
not know anything about it till today. And our guest tells us a little bit about
Jedediah, baby.
yourself.
Jedediah, introduce yourself, man. You play the instrument of death, is what he told me on the way up. Oh, I dropped my phone. It's okay.
So I play saxophone. Oh,
All right.
Shit.
and a few other things.
That's the saxophone. I think is probably one of the I don't give a shit. One of the sexiest instruments you could probably play. I bet you women probably love the saxophone.
I think everybody loves the saxophone once they give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, because like when you hear it and that person's into it, like it's not. I don't think it's like a normal instrument. I think it's a lot harder to master than a trumpet, guitar.
Is it?
Would that be something?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a matter of perspective. I think it's a little bit easier with the trumpet. You got to hit partials, and it's all in your embouchure and things like that. But
And
I don't know.
what?
It kind of came naturally to me.
And the what? The embouchures?
Okay.
The embouchure.
I know you haven't
Yeah.
met Dustin yet. Okay, I know. So we had the Marine Corps talk. He is a Navy guy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
From Oklahoma.
And from Oklahoma. That's strike number 2. And then he
So
hit
don't
score
call it a
high on the
boat.
ASVAB. No,
Yeah, no, it's a
He-
ship.
6th grade and
Yeah,
below
yes.
for the
Max.
for the, like max is 6th grade.
Max.
Nothing above 6th grade.
I'll
He
do my
won't
best.
understand. Yeah, you do luck.
I,
So yes, the Marine Corps actually does have a band. We actually have 2 bands. But I'll let you explain that, because obviously, I hope people think like, oh, it's going to be a band episode, because it's not. You have a
Right,
you have
no.
a
We're
big
gonna
story
give it more.
outside of the band. But for those that are listening or interested, I mean, the Marine Corps does have 2 bands, and I will tell you this, and this is the craziest thing you're ever going to hear, and I'm going to let him riff it. It is actually tougher to join the Marine Corps band than it is to do most highly prestigious things, and that's even at the base level. Not even talking about the President's Own, which is a whole separate thing. Hit it.
So, I mean, I don't want to get into too many details about how the band's structured and everything. But so it's the one thing you have to audition, you have to have a pre-existing skill set for. Pretty much everything else in the Marine Corps, in the military, you can, as long as you meet the scores on your ASVAB, they'll train you how to do it. It takes such a long time to train up to a portion where they would accept you into the band that you have to have that pre-existing skill.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they do, by the way, this for the people that listen, they do deploy. They get deployed. You do have to go through recruit training for his version of the band. The President's Own is a completely separate thing. For if you're listening, President's Own is completely separate. Maybe a little higher prestige, maybe, but whatever. They do have to go to boot camp. They do have to train. They do have to do everything else normal Marines have to do, including shooting rifles, PFT quals, all that stuff.
All the same qualification.
All while still having a full-time job, which is to play music every day, which I will agree with you is the most fucked up, coolest shit ever. Is like, I get to do what I love every day. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, that's so crazy. Poor you.
Yeah, but it's like, what do? Do you just show up every day and practice?
So, I mean, our day's structured similar to other units. We get up early, go PT, as a unit and things like that. So in addition to playing music and doing rehearsals, preparing for performances, we also basically operate as our own company. So it's been a little while, so some things might have shifted since I was in there. But yeah, so we have our own admin section, own logistics. So when we're going on tour, we're going to play somewhere, it's the Marines that are in the band that are organizing that. We send somebody, in some cases, we'll send somebody to qualify to drive the coach bus.
Yeah.
So it's all inner-sourced through the band. Run our own booking, whether it's for booking where we're going to be playing, the hotels, all that stuff.
No, and that's really the only thing that I think a lot of people don't misunderstand is when they think the band, they think, oh, nerds. The truth, though, is it's still a full-time job. It's still strenuous. They still have trainings. They still go run. They still PT, everything else that we normally do. But the one thing that I will say, and this was in Paris Island. Were you stationed in Paris Island, or where were you at?
For boot camp, it was.
What about after for your first unit?
So after I was in Miramar, Lejeune, and Quantico.
Okay, so on Paris Island, they have a it's the Hall of Excellence or the Hall of Music. What do they call it for your shop, your section?
I mean, it's just the band hall.
Oh, well, we'll call it the hall. So they have that in on Paris Island. They have one of those. Just after you graduate boot camp, this is where the unit works for the band that's on there. And I'm dead serious. I'm low key kind of jealous, which is why I think where most hate comes from. Those guys, I went down there just to go meet them when I was a recruiter. And no kidding, their work day is everybody has their work jobs, supply, admin, logistics. But then they would come in and they would play music. So they would legit go in there and you'd have 5 or 6 guys who came together to build a band. And they're playing Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, like they would record it and play it. They have quality music, quality instruments. I legit was like, yo, I fucking wish I had it. I wish I knew how to play an instrument.
No kidding.
It's kind of amazing how they set it up. So you typically have about 50 musicians in the band, and it's all led by musicians, right? So you don't have an officer that doesn't know anything about music. They just changed how they structure the officer band program there, so I'm not up to date on all that. But it used to be the band could only have a warrant officer because it had to be somebody that went through being a musician in the band.
Yeah, they're keeping continuity.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're
That's
operating at that level.
thing.
Yeah. So and it's still that they've just changed what rank the officers hold, and I'm not up to date on all
And
that.
so for those that are listening, so right now, so like for my example, and even for him, so for me, graduated high school. 2 weeks later, I'm in boot camp and my life starts, right? I was an electronic technician, so fiber optics, electronics, computers, cards, piece part components. That's my skill set. You mentioned earlier how technically advanced a student has to be to join the band. What would be the equivalent like skill level? Like in order to qualify to earn a spot on the Marine Corps band, how good of a player would you have to be?
I mean, it's really hard to put that in. The audition process has changed a whole lot. When I auditioned, I had somebody drive down from New York to my house in Philly and came into my living room, and I had to do a prepared piece, grade 4 or higher. I had to do scales, major, natural harmonic, melodic minor, and I had to do some kind of improvisation.
Okay.
Right? So at that point in my life, I had no clue what a grade 4 prepared piece was. When the audition happened, I put a CD in my CD player and I played along to some John Coltrane and slowed over top of it. It was not anywhere close to what they were requiring. But because I was able to improvise a little bit, they kind of like passed me on that. I played my major scales and I think I got like 1.5 minor scales correct and failed the rest of them. But at that point, it was like, I guess they
just that little piece gave you enough edge.
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
Looking back, I don't know how they passed me on that, but I'm super glad they did.
Well, and the reason why I asked that, so I did not know how that process went, and then I had kids that were interested in joining the band, and I thought, oh, they got to be good. You have kids who are playing in college, so I thought, oh, you've got to be great at playing the band. You were in band since you were a kid. You grew up in high school playing band music. Like, how hard could it be? I had kids that had played a musical instrument. Let's use the saxophone. Their entire lives not qualified. Not qualified. The degree to which you have to be able to play your instrument and actually really perform, sight reading, your pre-composed pieces, all that stuff, you're in college at that point. Like you're college level. Wow. And then it's not just musicians. It's did you perform in orchestras outside of school? Did you perform in state level bands and things like that outside? Like I was like, dude, like this kid doesn't qualify. He's great. Not for them. No.
Yeah. I mean, to us, they're great, right? To them, they're like, nah, was this your like life dream is to go play for the Marine band?
So I didn't even know the Marine band existed until just before I auditioned. So I was going to college at a community college in Philadelphia for music performance. And I got 2 semesters in and realized that I was going to have to get student loans to do the rest of the degree. And the realization that hit me at that moment was like, how am I going to pay off student loans playing a sax? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure that out and all that. And it just happened to coincide with a friend of mine that was getting ready to graduate from boot camp. So our whole little friend group, we drove down to Paris Island for his graduation. And during the graduation, the band performs. So that's the first time I saw a Marine band and even knew it existed. And of course, like when once you graduate boot camp, you're right on, recruiting duty, helping out. So it's like, dude, talk to my recruiter. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. And found out more information about it, got into it. And it really coupled two things that I was passionate about. I was able to get an education in music or continue it without having to pay for it with the Marine Corps. But also, I've always been into sports and just being athletic in general. So it was an opportunity to marry those two things and go travel and see the world and play music doing it.
You hit something. And again, this is somebody who doesn't play instrument. I have an electric guitar that I got when I was, I think, 14 or 15. And I probably strummed that thing maybe 20 times. And just not my thing, right? Like I tried, I was like, it's just not my thing, but I kept it. And my daughter plays it now. But going to school, because I have a very different view on academics in college. I think most college is worthless unless you're gaining a real skill. Now, would you say going to playing an instrument, go to college and that would give you that skill set?
So I think you definitely have to have a level, to make it worth your while to go to college for music, right? Yeah. But then I think very much like just about anything else, it's the connections you make while you're there. It's the people you surround yourself that are going to be beneficial.
It's
down
building
the road.
That network, right?
Exactly. Well, and also just, like any degree, I think there's so many people that finish a degree in college and then go work doing something else, and you realize that it's not so much the degree that you got, it's that you were willing to stick with something for 4 years and complete it. And that's what, companies are looking for the most part. Because they're going to train you to do whatever their system is. They want to know that you're willing to stick through the training to become efficient in doing it.
Yeah. Is that how employers look at people as far as with college degrees? I don't know. I've only had a handful of jobs.
We talked about this at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, sixth grade.
Yeah, sixth grade. Yeah, dumb it down. Small words.
Dumb it, grade.
So, I mean...
2 syllables.
The process of getting out in the Marine Corps was kind of two-phased for me. So I switched from active duty to reserves. So then had to get a job.
Gotcha.
While I was doing reserves. And then once I was retired, life takes its course and stuff goes crazy. And you got to find, a way to make
find your thing.
Wait, you say retired. You're a retired Marine?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding. Off of reserves? Or active duty? Or most of the time was on active duty?
Well, so I did 13 and a half years active duty, and then the rest was reserves.
Oh, so you already had all the points you needed to essentially retire right when you got to the unit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You just needed the time.
I needed
years.
the time.
Right.
Yeah, you had all the points. You just need the years now.
Correct.
That 20 years, right?
Yes.
Is there a reserve band?
There's not.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was like, I didn't think so.
Yeah, not in the Marine Corps.
What'd you do? What'd you do in the reserves?
Communications.
Okay. He's still smart. That's cool. That's cool.
What do you do now?
Now I'm building a company called Green Hat Entertainment. So I've played music my whole life, and when I left high school, I needed to find a place to play that wasn't college because I was going to go directly to college. And I found blues jams in my local community and found some mentors and how to get up on stage and not be nervous and build some confidence and actually play loud enough so people could hear me. And I just kind of went from there. I decided that playing music was what I wanted to do. And I spent a year where I said, no matter what, every day this year, I'm going to play in front of people. So every day, Christmas, New Year's, everything, whether it was, at an open mic, an open jam, playing on the street, a coffee shop, whatever, I played in front of people every day that year. And it helped me to find the local network and music community that existed there and really learn what that was and how they supported each other and grow just as a musician, performance-wise and networking-wise. So fast forward, that's kind of part of the impetus. While I was in the Marine Band, I toured all over the place. And I would, wherever we would show up in a new city, I would try to find local live music to go sit in and play because I just love playing. So it was really difficult because there wasn't really a centralized hub to find those things. I'd end up sitting in my hotel room for 45 minutes on Google just trying to find out who's playing where tonight and is it actually up to date. So what I'm creating is a social network for the grassroots local live music community. In my experience, it's very common to have conflict between venue owners that host live music and bands, and not like we want to fight each other kind of conflict. But everybody's trying to make money, right? As a musician, if that's your passion, is what you want to do, you want to make a living doing that. And so many musicians at that level that are playing in their local community are doing that on the side because they can't make enough money to have that be a full-time career, right? They have side jobs, and it's a hustle, right? And we love it, so it's what we do. But I want to make it so that music can be a career. You know, we go back to when I was in college and I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm going to take student loans, but I can't pay those off playing sax because I know I can only make $100 for a gig, you know, and 1, maybe 2 gigs a day at max. And then maybe 4 or 5. If you're really pushing, you can do 5, maybe 6 gigs in a week. Sustaining that's a whole lot. And you're really not making enough to support a family at that point.
Yeah, and you're gone a lot.
What's that? Yeah, and
You're gone.
a lot.
I mean, you're gone a lot. You know, at the times, probably the most important times you need to be there.
Exactly.
You know, 5 to 9 or
Exactly.
5 to midnight, probably.
Right. Yeah.
Or
You're going to
beyond,
set that up.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's creating a tool to create that network between the venues, the bands and musicians, so that they can collaborate on it. It facilitates allowing them to do contracts for their gigs, to find new bands. So like as a venue owner, I've worked in the restaurant industry as well since I got out, and even before I joined the Marine Corps. But as a venue owner, a restaurant owner, bar owner, like you have a whole bunch on your plate, and it's a tight margin to be profitable as a restaurant owner, right? So the last thing you have time to do is go scout for new bands that you're going to have to pay more than you would have to pay for because you're not making a whole bunch of money as it is in some cases. So attaching an AI agent to your profile page as a venue owner that can scan your calendar for the past 3 months and look at what bands you had booked, how your analytics performed on those nights, and then provide you suggestions from the network of bands in your area that are similar to the bands that performed best for you and suggest them to you. And then you can say, oh, take a look at it, take a look at what they're going to have sound clips or videos on there, what their genre is, what their following is, and then push them a request, say, hey, we'd love to book you for this date next month. This is how much we're willing to pay. And that whole communication can happen on the app.
Interesting. I love that. I love that innovation, intuitiveness, because I definitely agree. I think when I go search for local bands, because I love music, but I can't play a fucking instrument. Yeah. You know, it's a thing I enjoy.
I appreciate the artistry of live music. And recordings and CDs and the DJs, that's cool. But like somebody up there, you can feel the passion, especially with the saxophone. Because like you mentioned, I do. It's actually funny. I love the sound of the saxophone. It's like sex to the ears.
Yeah. And
you can feel it like when somebody really cares, like when they're really pouring themselves into the instrument. It kind of, again, it sounds like it's like the music's coming out and it's them expressing themselves. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's you know, one thing that you were touching on is the business owners and you know, in the venues, you know, and one thing I think I'm on the right track with this. I don't really know if they care about metrics as far as I think the band will, and to see how it performs, but see how it performs against the other bands, because then it'll kind of give you that genre you kind of need to go with in that location, but also like how much money they bring in.
Right, those are the metrics I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, that is part of the package.
Well, and we're getting both of those. So for the band, it's seeing how many you can have people check in, like, hey, this is how many people we brought in, and attach that to your profile page as a band. But for the venue owner, I mean, they want to know how much they're making, right? So if you had a fantastic night, how much you're just selling food, how much you're selling drinks, you're tracking all that already, and it's just pairing that with this is the band I had on that night.
Yeah, and
when you can look back on that. But again, a venue owner doesn't have the time to look back on all of that in that great detail and associated with the band that they had on that night.
Yeah.
So having an AI agent to do that for them and just like kick them a suggestion, it makes their life easier and helps them to be more profitable. And if they're more profitable, they're bringing in the money. They know they can, and they know where it's coming from because I had that band. Now I can pay that band more. Yeah. And over time, that compounds. And then being a musician in your local area can make enough to have that be a viable career.
Yeah, I love that.
So I'm interested though. So I mean, because it sounds like it's a passion project. It doesn't sound like some bullshit. I'm gonna get rich. Because honestly, I'm trying to think of how. Yes, please pass my coffee too. Thank you. I'm even as I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of how are you making money off of this, right? I'm saying it in my head, like how's he making money off this? Like where's his angle? But I think the angle that I started to hear as you kept talking about it is the individual artist, the person who needs to make money to support their passion while being able to make money to keep their food on the table for their family. Is that something that when you got out of the Marine Corps and when you were trying to follow your passion, that's something you yourself struggled with as well, or no?
Well, it's something that you just kind of inherently know that if you have a family, you got 2 kids, there's no way you're supporting that off of a few gigs a week, making $100, $150 here and there. It's very difficult to make it consistent, to have a consistent income that you can depend on, and to make it enough to live any kind of even average level life.
I mean, you talk about $150 a night. You're not even talking. You're like $11.75 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you're talking about like,
Well, actually, probably more like 22 an hour because it's less time, but still.
right. So it's, and that's a great point. So a typical gig is 3 hours, right? But you have the teardown time, the travel time, the setup time, the rehearsal time,
And
which you don't get paid for. Because if you're going to show up and have any kind of continuity as a band, you have to have rehearsals. Who pays for that, right? But you're paying the time to do it, right? So yeah, it just becomes really difficult to make that a viable career.
Yeah.
But if we can,
$150 a night ain't.
right.
But I mean, it depends on where you live. Maybe there is some places that's actually not bad. But here in San Diego, man, good luck.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the corner.
Oh,
Sure.
Well, no, they'll be playing at the corner.
I have. That's how I bought groceries for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So when I was stationed out here, I joined the Marine Corps a little bit later because I was in college, right? So I was 21 when
Let's go back real quick to what you did. Well, actually, finish that. Finish it.
Let him rip, man. That was a good point right there.
Go
ahead. So 21, you're here now.
Yeah, so I got stationed in Miramar, and I'm 21. Everybody else in the barracks is 18. And Marines like to drink. That's just the Navy, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But as being 21, now I'm responsible for the Marines that are around me if they're drinking underage.
Yeah.
And I just showed up, so I don't know them, and I have no control over that. So I'm like, I need to get out of the barracks, right? So because I was a corporal at the time, I think, they weren't going to give me BAH to move out of the barracks. I wasn't married. I didn't have the rank for it or anything. But I asked for permission, and they gave me permission. It was like, well, we're not going to pay for it, but you can move out in town if you want. So I moved out in town. I actually got my brother to move out here with me. All right, he saved some money, bought enough for a plane ticket, and came out here. And we got an apartment just off Mira Mesa, and paid that. And it took pretty much everything I had from my paycheck just to pay the rent. So I got to the point where it's like finding. I saw a guy pulling soda cans out of the dumpster and taking them to recycling. Like, oh, that's a good idea. So I started saving soda cans and doing that. And eventually I realized that, I saw people playing downtown on the street. And I'm like, man, I could do that. So I would drive my car down to Horton Plaza. I'd park. And you have to pay for parking down there, right? Didn't have money. Yeah. So you can validate your parking, or you could, for 3 hours if you buy anything in Horton Plaza. So I'd go down to the Starbucks and they sell shortbread cookies for $1.50, right? So I'd buy a shortbread cookie for $1.50. They give me 3 hours of parking. And I'd walk down the street and I'd just play on the street corner for like 2.5 hours, $2.45, and make between $50 and $70 typically, and go back, get in the car and buy some groceries.
And that's why you're on active duty.
Yeah.
So what year? When did you join? What year?
Joined in 2004. Yeah, I went to boot camp in 2004.
Okay, 2004. Yeah, so E4, you're making what, $2,000 like $2,000 base pay, and then you're here. No, I mean no. Like honestly, back then, like when I joined, it's so crazy because I remember looking at it. When I joined, E1 in boot camp made $500 a month. You're in boot camp, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then as an E1 outside of boot camp, your base pay was $1,247 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Then I hit E3. I was in Okinawa at the time. So it was 06. I was E4, 06, in the back end of 06. I was maybe making like $1,800 every 2 weeks, every month.
Every month.
And then you add your BAH, your taxes, everything else. I was maybe taking home less than a G a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, and then to live off base and then, and even if you're like, oh, well, just go to the chow hall. I mean.
Right. Well, and then, there are other mistakes that we make as we're learning life and stuff like that, buying a car and insurance and all that kind of stuff. I bought a Miata, which was really hilarious, but it was a lot of fun to drive.
Oh my God.
We're not going to, don't make fun of it. Don't do it.
As soon as I thought it, I knew. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Why do you say a Miata, dog? Come on, man. I told him you were hardcore.
You could just left that car.
I traded it in for an S2000.
There you go.
What?
Okay.
An S2000.
He bought a Camaro. He bought a Camaro.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Camaro, 30% interest. But no, the problem is I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, even when you join active duty, a lot of people think like, oh, just join active duty, your life is just easy. It's on easy street. And the truth is it is if your idea of living or living is I'm in the barracks, I go to work, I go to the gym, I go back to the barracks. I go to the chow hall.
If you know how to control your finances.
If you know how to control your finances. The truth though is, and the problem is that's easy to do, I think, when you're 17, 18 years old, because we're not doing anything. I do think, and I have told people this, I think it's harder to join as an adult, like as at 21, 22, 23, because now you're not focused on like the same like kid shit. Like you're not partying and clubbing and drinking every night. You're focused on your career, your passions, building your life, going to college, doing these things, and trying to navigate that space while trying to not be broke, while trying not to live in the barracks, dealing with underage drinking Marines, which let's be honest, we know they were. So like it's a tough space to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't imagine fucking going to work all day, then getting off, going to play at a plaza and buying shortbread cookies for $1. I remember we had a committee. It's funny. I was in June. We called it Broke 5 Broke, right? The Kanye CD just came out.
Yeah.
Broke 5 Broke. Yep.
We ain't got it.
We ain't got it. we would come together, and it was it was always the second week right before the fifth, let's say it's the first and the 15th paycheck. Right before the 15th paycheck, we come together, we pull in money. All right, how much we got? I got $20, I got 15, you got 30. All right, cool. Hey, between us, we got what? $65. Okay, cool. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab, we were all over age at the time. We were all of age. For the purpose of the podcast, we're gonna say we were all of age. We would buy a 12-pack of beer. Of Smirnoff Ice, because that would get you, because you could just pound it, you could chug it down real quick, and it get you drunk faster.
You were talking about my Miata.
Yeah. Oh, hey. I mean,
he just called Smirnoff
hey,
beer.
You're right.
You guys should be in the same car.
I know, right? So we pound those, and then we would get pizza and ramen noodles, and that was our meal for the weekend. And we would share all of our funds and all our stuff because we had no money.
It's amazing. There was always beer in the fridge, but food was very scarce. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we're all broke. Mm-hmm. All right, we got Coors Light.
Give me chicken ramen.
Yeah,
chicken and ramen.
Oh, the ramen, because you could go buy, I think they were like 25 cents at the time.
Yep.
And you just go buy a case.
Yep.
So we'd have a case of ramen or 2 or 3 cases of ramen.
I tried it. I tried to do a ramen diet. When I first got Comrades, I was on EA Island, so EA Shima, not EA Jima, EA Shima, which is off Okinawa. I was like, oh, I got Comrades, it's an extra $300 in my check. I'm like, yo, I'm about to make this work. I spent $50 and I would buy cereal, milk, eggs, and I would buy ramen noodles. I was like, that's gonna be my meal every night. Ramen noodles. My meal every night. I made it maybe 3 or 4 days where I couldn't even eat it without like immediately throwing it out. Like it just did not stay in my stomach. It was like, nope, I don't want this. And it was out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's out. I gotta go buy real groceries now. And I spent $300 on groceries.
Yep.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're doing this here. I mean, you don't have to do this. You could just you could have just said, hey, I'll just stay on the barracks. I just won't go out and do this. I don't have to follow my passion. I could just chill. Why do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's just not an option. It's what you're passionate about,
Yeah.
You find a way to make it happen.
So before you came into the military, though, like what got you into music?
Man, I think, I always knew I wanted to play sax. So as soon as I was able to in school, like fourth grade, you had to play a string instrument in fourth grade, and I played viola, and I was upset because I knew I wanted to play sax. I'm like, just let me play sax. That's what I want to do.
Viola, like violin?
No,
Yeah.
it's
a slightly larger violin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
It's essentially the same thing, but it's a little bigger.
Yeah, I mean,
you make it sound uneducated. God, we know what a
I don't know.
viola
I
is.
don't know what a viola is. I thought you was talking about like a sandwich. I was like, I could use one of those too.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, just go ahead. I'm not
No, you're good. So, as soon as fifth grade hit, they tried to make me play trombone. I'm like, no, I told you I want saxophone. And I was like, that's what I'm playing. And I just went from there.
I was in band, I think around the same, about 4th or 5th grade. I think 5th grade it was. Maybe 5th or 6th, because they made you take band.
They did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For some reason, they put me on the drums.
Really?
It was so weird. They were like, yeah, like something about like my natural rhythm or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
What were you doing with the teacher?
No. It was like this boom, boom, brrr.
Well, I
Just
got
sitting there tapping on it.
I played the trumpet.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the worst. I was like, no, I want to play guitar, and they're like, no. I was like, you're going to play the trumpet. I was like, pfft. I never, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Man, I never picked it. I mean, I got the instrument. I had to rent it from one of the rental companies out there, and I never really picked it up. And that was just it. I think if I would have got the guitar, I maybe would have had an inkling. But I just also was kind of lazy, and I just didn't want to do it on my own.
Who was pushing? I mean, so obviously you have the natural inclination towards playing sax. That's good. But I think the one thing people don't realize is when you're playing an instrument, you also need kind of an external push. If it's not an internal thing for you, a passion, sometimes you need an external push or at least an external support system. Did you have that growing up as you were trying to get into sax, or?
So it's kind of an interesting combination. I was introduced to jazz by my dad. So he's not a musician, but he would always play like Spyro Gyra and stuff like that. So I heard that music, growing up. But my mom was more the musician. And she, growing up, wanted to play piano. And her parents were like, no, it's an organ, or it's an accordion. And she's like, I don't want to be playing this thing. And but she still has it. Like she still has her accordion. And we have a piano in the house now.
Man, I have so many questions. Like why did accordion? It was just like a religious thing?
No, honestly, I think her dad just knew somebody that was able to get them an accordion. And, I don't know what the situation is, but I know it wasn't what she wanted to play, but it was a musical instrument, and she had that music.
Yeah.
So, she played.
I mean, and probably playing a piano is probably pretty expensive, too.
Oh, sure.
Try to get a piano, right?
Yeah.
That's probably one.
Yeah, and you can just go and grab a keyboard at that point. So.
Oh, yeah, because you were talking probably like 60s?
Yeah, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's super interesting how that love and that push gets pushed into a different direction by somebody like the father or mother, something like that. Mm-hmm. And how you said that your dad wasn't musically inclined, but loved jazz, and you just heard that sax and you're like, boom, that's it. That's the instrument.
Yeah. Well, and because she had always had instruments around, right? They're always like tom-toms, or she had a melodica that she'd let me, like,
there
it was
you go.
a big
You're saying
deal.
those big fucking words again, man.
So
I just gave him the look, like, stop saying the big words.
A melodica is really cool.
Flute. They had a flute.
You stay with the basics, man. I think we get it, but the tom-tom and the...
No, you get it.
So a melodica is like a piano. It's like a keyboard, right? Except you blow into it to make the vibration and to play the notes.
No shit.
Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff online. You should check it out.
That is... See? It's a whole new world.
Well, that's why he didn't play instrument, because he is also tone deaf.
That's karaoke.
We all have our strengths.
Hey, first of all, karaoke is 80% performance, 20% skill. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, that's why I dance.
Yeah. Oh,
versus
100%.
sing.
Oh, bro, I'm thinking.
They're both bad.
They're both.
But at least
but look, you're
getting the best version of me.
We're going to see tonight after the soiree.
It's okay.
So for you, obviously the passion's there for you. What is this project, this app? What does that really mean for you?
We're not there yet. We're not even there yet.
You don't want to go there yet?
No, we're going to get there. And I love the name. And it fits. And that's why you're wearing the green hat,
Absolutely.
right? Okay, so that's the trademark. So, but anyway, we'll get there. I want to know, so what pushed you? So you went to play the sax. You started young playing the sax. And then you developed this love. And why college? Why college as a route for the saxophone?
It just seemed like the logical, I knew that it was what I wanted to do. Started out playing in elementary school, got into junior high. I hit a point where I think transitioning to junior high is when, over the summer, my dad kind of sat down with me. He's like, I think he heard and saw some of the potential I had for playing. And he said, look, if you're going to take this seriously, you need to play 4 hours every day during the summer. Mm-hmm. Like, go out and play and do your stuff and be a kid and all. But if you're serious about really, really doing this thing, you need to invest the time over this summer. So when you step in your junior high, you can make the most of it. And to my memory, I did that. I'm sure there were some days where I didn't hit 4 hours or whatever, but sure. I really dug in on it. And it was that drive. So my mom always having musical instruments around. My dad introduced me to jazz and things like that. And then them recognizing that it was something I was passionate about, that I had a bit of a talent for, and really pushing me and motivating me to lean into it. And develop that discipline.
Dude, that's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Your dad seems like a good dude.
Yeah, for sure.
The 2 or 3 things you said about it, but like, I'm sorry, I can't say that about it.
Our dads.
Yeah, right?
We trauma bond a lot.
Yeah,
I got you.
Over
it
daddy
happens.
issues.
Yeah.
I wish I knew my dad.
Yeah. I knew my dad, but it is what it is.
Good,
that's awesome, man. That's some very sound advice that he gave you, and obviously it worked out.
Yeah. Well, and I've been able to pass it on to my kids also.
Oh, you have kids?
I do.
Oh, all right. We'll get into that as
You
well.
didn't pick up the story? You didn't pick up the whole, struggling to provide and take care of kids and shit? You didn't pick that up?
I think he said family.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said kids. So he said family.
Well, it could have been general. People have families.
Don't give him too many outs for inactive
I think
listening.
just struggling to survive
Sure.
is without even a family. I think struggling to survive as a musician is super tough. How many people do you know that went to college, became successful musicians?
There's not a lot.
I mean, I know they exist. I don't think I personally know any that I can think of.
You don't
at the
know,
moment.
or maybe like, and really, I'm kind of like, I'm like, dang man, like that's a lot of money to go to college,
Yeah.
and maybe it does enhance your skill set. I
Oh, for
don't
sure.
know. Again, I'm not speaking about anything I don't know about, but I'm like, dude, that's a lot of money, especially this day and age to go to college for music and turn it into something else and not follow that passion. That's tough.
Yeah,
That's
for
a-
sure.
Yeah, I mean, but I
Tough
think
act.
the point is as you get older, though, your priorities kind of shift and change. When you start having family, your priorities kind of shift. I think going to college and then playing in the band, most of the people that I knew that played in the band seriously that went to college and continued to master music weren't going just strictly for music. They were usually dual majoring in something
Gotcha.
that would be worth doing. And that's where
the whole culture is.
that's where the extra budget comes in, because now it's not only I'm getting a music major, right, which is a lot more than just playing music. It's theory, it's reading, it's everything, and then you couple that with I'm getting a psych degree as well. So it's like
Right.
I'm
but
so busy.
why are you dual majoring, right? Because the culture says you can't make a living as a musician. This is what you're passionate about. You're passionate enough to go pay all this money to go to college for music. But even in doing that, you're going to do a dual major because you know the likelihood is you're not going to be able to support yourself or a family on that music.
Yeah, you're doing
and
plan
that's
B.
the problem.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'm interested. I'm going to ask if you. I mean, if I did that Marine thing, you're going to say one thing. So, if you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice, if you knew that like music could be your passion, we're not going to change anything. This is an alternate universe. Would you have told yourself to dual major? Or would you said no, bro? Go all in on what you want to do. Like, what advice would you give your son if he wanted to play?
I only made it 2 semesters, right? So I didn't even get the full college experience. Like that was it. I did 2 semesters, and then I started joined the Marine Corps. Right? I mean, it took me 8 months to get through the late entrance program and all of that. But yeah, that's as far as I made it. So I don't know what could have come from me staying with it. I think a dual major is probably the right way to go right now. It's what I want to change. Not that that's a bad thing, right? But I want you to dual major because you're passionate about 2 things, not because I'm passionate about this so much that I don't want to do it, but I know there isn't really a future to it that's going to support the life I want to live.
And so it's funny because I just had this conversation with my son maybe a week ago, where I just got off the phone and something we were trying to build this thing, and I'm known for doing these big grandiose things because my adage is always it's better to aim for the moon and miss than aim for the gutter and make it. Let's go hard and build something really big. And then let's fall short a little bit. Like let's fall short. Let's after action that bad bitch and go, oh, here's how we fell short. Here's how we could fix it next time. But at least now we know that the fence that we've built around ourselves we have a little bit more breathing room than we thought. So as I'm doing this thing and they're like, hey, this event's just way too big. We need to dumb it down. Please bring it down. Please, we're nervous. And I'm like, what are you nervous about? I'm the one running it. I'm the one spearheading it. I've got the investors. I've got the funds. Like, just step back, take off the golden handcuffs. I'm upset, and my son's like, Dad, are you okay? And I'm like, this is a learning moment. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm not okay. I am extremely frustrated because I believe in this thing that I could make happen, and because other people are nervous or their comfort zones are being pushed, they want to put shackles on me. So if this is a moment that I could give you, don't ever I want you to get so fucking comfortable failing. And I'm dead serious. I want you, if you ever want to make me proud or do something like I go, yo, that's my boy. Go fail. Like, please do me a favor. My job as your father is to build the foundation so you can fail. You hit a nice soft spot and then you keep going. But I want you to fail. Get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because at least then I know you tried at it versus I think what happens is you dual major, let's be honest, like you said, right? You're going to fail if you do this. You're going to fail. So then I start focusing more on my dual major, which means this kind of gets pushed aside, which means likelihood is I'm going to quit.
Right.
I'm going to quit and I'm going to go do my psych degree and then I'll never pick up music again.
Right.
Go ahead.
That happens all the time.
And it does. And I think it's because instead of telling people, we get so comfortable. And it's funny because Greg Reed says it and you're at Secret Knox, so it's ironic, right? We're talking about Greg. The funny thing that Greg says is there's a difference between counsel and opinion. And we so often we listen to opinion when we should be seeking counsel. Opinion says, hey, you're going to make music outside. Like, that's going to fail. You shouldn't do that. I've never played an instrument in my life, so why am I giving you advice? Counsel says, Jed, man, I don't know, bro. My son's really interested in the saxophone, but there's just no money in sax players, bro. What's he going to do? Well, Terrence, what are you talking about? This is what he can do. Here's how he can build it. Here's the app he could use to connect with the venues. Like, what do you mean he can't do this? If he's passionate, bro, support that. Go, let him do this. And now that I've heard your counsel, it's like, oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'm same boat. If you're passionate about it, I think you can support yourself on it. It's just we hit these roadblocks, we hit these no's.
Sure.
And I don't take no. Like, you just said no because you don't know me. You just said no because you don't know what I do, what I can do. You're just saying no because that's the first response you say.
You also don't know how hard I'll go for this shit. Like, I will go. I will.
You don't know my dedication.
100%.
Yes.
So it's either the wrong no, or they haven't said, "Hey, get the fuck out of here before I call the police."
Right.
You know, that's the no I take.
Yeah, I don't know. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, not. I'm going to a very far extreme, but like, it's a no. I don't stop at no. It's just, oh, that's the wrong person because they weren't supposed to say yes. I was just hoping they would say yes. I need to find that right person.
Right.
And I say pivot or die. You pivot or you're gonna die. So you go around, you find that next somebody or find that band that you guys can really push out there. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things that bands probably face is they give up probably fairly easy, right?
3 feet from goal.
In a lot of situations, sure.
You know what I mean? Because
well,
they're not getting gigs and they're like, oh, this is impossible.
Right. Well, and it's very much like we talked about the structure of the band in the Marine Corps, right? We have all those musicians also doing all of the logistics and planning and scheduling that goes along that's necessary in order for the performances. Like you're the Marine band, so it's going to happen. The gigs are going to be there. It's a different thing. It's not paid and all that, right? But it's the realization that all those logistics, all that background work has to happen for the music to be able to happen.
Yep.
And if you're going to be successful as a band, like there are people that, I'm trying to help that community to work better and collaborate and everything. But there are people making it at grassroots live local music.
Yeah.
Right. So I know people that do that for a living, and maybe they don't make a ton of money, but they're doing what they love, and they travel and they tour and all that. I have friends that I know are doing it right now, and it's fantastic. So it can be done in the state we're at now. I'm trying to help facilitate more so that it's easier for people to have that as a career.
Yeah, I love that. How did the Marines, how the regular Marines take you as a band member? I don't know how to.
What do you mean
I'm like
Marines?
trying to toe this. I'm really trying to toe this, not to sound like diminish what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to say it. Again, sixth grade. Sixth grade.
Yeah,
So how do you guys integrate? And like, did they take you guys as serious or?
So it's a mix. Some very much not, and a lot of it's because of ignorance.
Yeah.
Right. Like I remember sitting. I was going for a hearing test one day on Lejeune, and I'm sitting there. And there's this kid beside me, and he's like, he was like a PFC or something. Like he had just gotten there, and we're chatting. And he's like, "So wait, you're in the band? Like, what do you guys do? Just play like Semper Fi all day long?" And I'm like, "Man, we do so much more than that." And then we got into it, but he didn't know. And like, if that's not your job, like, I don't really know what your job was in the Navy, and like what you did, and like the intricate parts of what make that come together, and the skills that you need, and what you persevered through for that, right? So it's just a matter of like just ignorance because we can't know. What everybody does.
Yeah, you're not going to know everything.
Right? Yeah. We had some really fun in the military. We love to compete, right? So we love pitting our units against each other and bettering ourselves through competition, right? On Quantico, we did one of those events where we did a whole bunch of sports, all that. And it came out to a tie between 3 different units, right? And they finished it. They decided with a push-up contest. So that super regimented, like, all right, this is what it's going to be. Whoever can do the most push-ups. Your form has to be perfect. We're going to count the cadence. All right? You don't have to count the repetition. Right? But it was like down, up. Down. Like they made it super strict. And my unit won. And they're like, no way, the band won something physical. I'm like, oh, I was a staff sergeant, and my fellow staff sergeant was the drum major. We set up the schedule. Right. And we both loved going to the gym. So instead of having PT at one part of the schedule and lunch on the other part of the schedule, like, let's put that together. So PT and lunch are back to back. So we got 2 hours. We can go hit the gym for an hour and a half, throw some food down, come back to work. And we started like, people saw us coming back and we were getting big, and it started inspiring other people. And they were like, so our whole unit we were pretty jacked at that time. It was awesome. It was fun. But yeah, it's that combination. Nobody is any one thing, right?
I envision the Marine Corps band looking like Meatloaf. You know what I mean? I mean, because that's when you see it. And I've known one person who was in the Navy band, and same thing. He was older. He was way like 26, 27, and he came in. We're in boot camp, and naturally he was the I don't know.
The guide or
whatever. The guide on whatever.
You Navy people call it.
I don't fucking
the
remember.
head sailor, I guess. I don't know.
No, the head sailor. I can't remember what you call it because I didn't really give a shit. You know, I was just like, all right,
It's all right because it wasn't you. I get it.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, I got to be whatever section leader, and I got fired from that job.
Yeah, I think everybody gets fired.
Oh yeah. Well, I had one guy who was from like Guatemala that didn't speak English. And fucking canteen upside down. I mean, man, what a fucking jacked up every day, you know.
And you paid for it.
Oh, every single day. I mean, first thing I do, wake up, get out of bed, I was like, fuck, all right, I need to go make his bed. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, yeah, because he'd make it. He tried to do the Nabisco fold and. Oh man, fuck.
And you knew everyone else was going to get messed up for it.
Oh yeah, I was trying to protect my squad, and anyway,
well, that's where it begins.
But
right, that's where that begins.
Yeah,
you know, people talk about like how do you do what you do when you're on a deployment and stuff like that. It's like it's not about some grand thing. I'm not like what's going on in the government or what's going on in politics right now. That's going to determine what I do while I'm out here in Iraq or Afghanistan. It's like no, like. I care about that guy, and I'm going to do what's necessary to make sure we all go home.
But you also probably see some cool shit. Like when they did some USO tours, they had like the Navy band with like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I was like,
let me tell you about my band experience. It was So I was on the
flute?
I was on the division color guard. I knew the joke was coming from your little 6th grade ass. I knew the joke was coming. I said, we better be careful talking about what
it's
instruments.
It's like when it said
I was waiting for it. I was like, the Navy guys gonna talk about skin flutes. Anyway, so what ended up happening is they said, hey, we need you're the perfect height and all this stuff. We need an extra member for the Marine Corps color guard. Blah 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 for the headquarters battalion. Hey, we got this thing. We're slated for Mardi Gras. And you're going to be on the color guard. I said, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll go do that. Sure, whatever. And I thought like, oh, it's just the color guard. We'll do our thing. No, we were down in New Orleans, for those that are from that region. And we did, I think over 3 days, we did 6 events. I think 7 because one was indoors. We did 6 of the crews, which means we were marching with the band, with them playing their instruments. I'll just guess and just say each walk was maybe 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah.
Easily over 30 miles in Coraframs, in dress blues. Them fully dressed out in dress blues, walking, marching, singing, playing the entire freaking way.
Damn.
Yeah.
Bro, and it was arduous.
It takes some conditioning.
It takes some conditioning. So when people are like, oh, it's the band, they don't do their thing. Like, no, they do their thing. And I gained a newfound perspective for not only the band, because music brings, that's why I love music so much. Music brings people together. So when you're out there and you're walking and color guard, we're right up front. So everybody sees us first, but you have the band behind us. And I'm not gonna lie to you, some of the songs they would play, bro, I want a high step. I'm like, okay, hold on. I want to dance. I wish I wasn't in this thing. But they have such a way, especially because they're so good at what they do, they have such a way of commanding the audience's experience and how into it they get, especially because we're down in New Orleans. They're playing a lot of Ying Yang Twins and Lil Wayne and stuff. Bro, they ate it up. These guys they owned the room.
It's so much fun. I did Mardi Gras twice, and man, marching those parades and like seeing the crowd and
the beads and the other thing.
Well, I lost a trumpet player for a good 2 minutes in the middle of a performance. Somebody just grabbed him and pulled him into the crowd.
And they'll take pictures.
And then he came back.
Yep, they'll take pictures with you. There's sections where we would stop. And as we'd stop, the band would come out and they'd do like a little skit kind of performance thing. They'd play music. So I'm like, Eddie's, because like they were like getting too comfortable. And there's always, I promise you, I hope it wasn't the same one. When did you go? I went in 2009, if not 2010. Like
right around the same time. 2010? Yeah. Because I was in Lejeune. I went to Lejeune in 2008 and we went down from Lejeune for 2 years. So you might have been color guard while I was marching.
I'm willing to bet. I have the photos. I'm willing to bet that we were there. I got to look up the.
You did a Michael Jackson tune with the brass band up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's on YouTube somewhere. And
no. I guess. Bro, I swear to God, we probably should have met then. So they had this thing. They come out and they would play, and there was always a sax guy with this extra energy. He'd be out there just playing his thing, doing his little dance. And they'd come out and be like, He'd be like, oh shit, my bad.
Oh yeah, that was our skit. Absolutely, that was our skit.
I'm telling you, we were in Marine Corps too small. But the crazy part is you go there and it's such a crazy experience and the crowd eats it up. They love everything we're doing, and it's honestly it's an experience, man. I will say that I found a newfound respect for my bandmates. Now we still give them shit, right? Of course. But they shoot rifles. They have their quals. They deploy, obviously. So we'll talk about that.
And that's going to be episode 2.
Deuce.
So thank you for watching Therapy Was Full podcast. Don't miss out on the future episodes. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share, because we have a lot of things coming down the pipeline and the new episodes coming up. And all the information you're going to need to know, from transitioning to financial. So stay tuned, because we have a lot of dynamic episodes coming out. And get ready for episode number 2. Stay tuned.